And so the manna itself is not a doctrine in and of itself. It's a type of Christ, and it was to be kept. It was not temporary. It wasn't going to go bad. God kept it so that it was there permanently. It was to be laid up before the Lord. It was inside the ark, and everyone knew it was there, but you couldn't actually go and lift the lid up and see it. But it was there. It was to be laid up before the Lord. And then it was to be put in the Ark of the Covenant. Now, at this stage, the Ark hadn't even been built, and Aaron did it later. And we see that he did do it later. How do we know that the pot was made of gold? How do we know that it was actually in the Ark? Well, we don't know it from Exodus. We know it because of progressive revelation. We get over to Hebrews 9, 3-5, and it tells us, right? So, understand, we can look in Hebrews 9, 3-5, and it'll tell us what was happening back here when we're looking at it in Exodus. Note that Hebrews also tells us that Aaron's rod that budded was also in the ark. This takes us back to Numbers 16 and 17. This is a story about how others of the Levites, the tribe of Levi, decided that Aaron and his son shouldn't be the only ones who were priests. They shouldn't be the only ones to go into the holy place, and they shouldn't be the only ones to make the sacrifices. And so they came, and they came into with censers in their hands to take the priest's place. And fire came out from the tabernacle from God and devoured them. And then after that, Moses said, let's settle this question of who is part of the priesthood and who's not. Let's settle it for good. He said, everyone, each tribe, take a rod, like a staff, and give it to me, and we'll lay them up before the Lord, and we'll see who God has chosen. And so Aaron had a rod, and it was put in with the others. And when the next day when they came, Aaron's rod had budded and had grown leaves and branches and fruit. And so Moses took that and he put Aaron's rod that budded in the ark before the testimony. Right, Numbers 17:10 tells us about it. And so it was in there. It was to be kept. It was a sign, right, a token. It was also a type or a shadow of Christ. Now we need to understand that the tabernacle, and particularly the Ark of the Covenant, were dangerous to fiddle with. Now, undoubtedly you've all seen the movies about the Lost Ark and how they find it and how fire comes out of it and all these different things. And they're based on the idea of what actually happened. When the Philistines, 1 Samuel, we'll just have a look at 1 Samuel 4. 1 Samuel 4. One Samuel 4, 3. And when the people were come into the camp, the elders of Israel said, wherefore hath the Lord smitten us today? Let us fetch the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh unto us, that when it cometh among us, it may save us out of the hand of our enemies. So they went and they got the Ark of the Covenant, and they took it into the battle with them, and they were defeated, and the Ark was captured by the Philistines. And when the Philistines took the Ark of the Covenant, this is chapter 5, and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face. This is their idol. He fell down on his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon, and they set him in his place again. And when they arose early on the morrow morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. And therefore neither the priests of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod but unto this day. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them and smote them with hemorrhoids. And so they were punished for taking the ark. And eventually they sent the ark back. And when they sent it back, in 1 Samuel 6, 19 to 21, the Philistines, they said, this ark is too dangerous for us. We can't keep it. Send it back to Israel. And they sent it back, and it came back into Israel. And the people where it came, in Beth Shemesh, the town, it says, and he smote them, God smote them, because they had looked into the ark of the Lord, even he smote of the people 50,010 men. And the people lamented because the Lord had smitten many of the people with a great slaughter. And so they wanted to send the ark away, and they sent it again to Kirjath-jearim. And so we see it was dangerous to touch the ark, to look into the ark. The ark wasn't a thing to be fiddled with. The Philistines discovered it, and the Israelites discovered it, and even David, later on in 2 Samuel 6, 1 to 11, David decides that he's going to bring the ark to Jerusalem. And as he's bringing it, he puts it on a new cart, and it's been at a place where two brothers have been looking after it. And as they're going along, it's on the cart, and the bullocks that are pulling the cart shake the cart, and it looks like the ark might fall off. One of the brothers reaches out and he steadies it with his hand, and God strikes him dead. So the Ark of the Covenant was not a thing to be fiddled with, and it wasn't a thing that you could just take lightly. And these movies that they have that show the Ark being a thing of great power, that's not entirely fantasy. It was definitely something that you didn't fiddle with. It was where God's presence was, and you just didn't go up to the ark and lift the lid up and have a look in, because once that mercy seat was on top of the ark, it was there to keep the law in the ark, and it was important that nobody could fiddle with it or touch it or change it. And I think we'll leave that there. That's about got us a good start on the ark and on the tabernacle. Look carefully at your pictures and get it clear in your mind. Do some reading on each of the different furniture things that are in the ark and get them clear in your mind, their size and their shape, and we'll leave that one there.